Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Fun Filled Friday. I hope that you had a fabulous Thanksgiving and that you are recovered from any Black Friday shopping you've done. I just stayed home today. I don't really like going out in the crowds and all of that, so I have just been here all day and just taking it easy. I've been doing a lot of reading over the past couple of days. So we had a quiet Thanksgiving and an even quieter day after Thanksgiving, and I've just enjoyed every minute of it. So I hope you had a great holiday with your family and friends. So the votes were in. I didn't make up a slide because I've been fighting this nasty cold I have, but the votes were in, and definitely the delicate, the theme is Christmas again, the bundle Delicate Pines, and we wanted a easy to replicate fun fold with a wow factor, and I think this card manages to hit the nail on all points. So first, before I show, one of this stamp set has, 14 stamps in it. It only has 3 sentiments. Celebrate the season. It's the most magical time of the year. And warmest winter wishes. I've used warmest winter wishes on a lot of my cards so far this year, but it has all of these fabulous stamps. But then it has 22 dies that go with the set. And so I've used some of these dies today. We're using some of the stamps, and we're going to make a fabulous Christmas card. So let me show you the card. So it looks like just a simple gatefold card with a fabulous front to it. That's one of my wows. But when you open up this gatefold card, watch carefully. It's a shutter card. It works just like a camera lens. Isn't that cool? And it's so easy to recreate. The only thing is that you need a small sentiment to put in the shutter so that it can be seen easily. And it just, with this one in particular, you have to close the right side first because of this fabulous wreath I put together. So I'm just putting it up a little closer so that you can see it. I didn't add any bling because I just thought this with the bow was enough. So my 2 wows for this is the fold itself, because that is just so cool, and this part here. So let me show you how we put this together. All right, let's get out the materials that we need. Okay, so we have some old Olive Cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5. I have a little baggie of a whole bunch of stuff that I've already die cut using some extra olive green cardstock at Early Espresso and some of the gold foil. And let's start with the rest of the old olive cardstock that we need. We also need a piece that's 3 inches by 5.5, and we need 2 pieces that measure 3.5 by 4. And we're going to be scoring those 3 pieces of cardstock. This one's not going to get scored. Okay, for basic white cardstock, we're going to need, I didn't even show you the back of the card. And here's the back of the card. It just fits with the front so well. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining. And so then for basic white cardstock, I need a piece that measures 4 by 5.25, and I need a piece that's just wide enough to fit my 2 3/8 inch circle punch. So here's my circle punch. I don't know if you probably can't see with all the shine that it's 2 3/8 inches, and I'm going to need one of those. So I I'm just going to punch that now because that's the only, we'll need the punch back again, but we need this punch here for two different things. And then I'm using the Elegant Pine Snowflake Designer Series paper that goes with this suite. And here I have a piece. And then I have here 4 pieces of a different pattern that measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So let's get started and let's start with getting the paper all ready. Alrighty. So I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer to do all of my scoring tonight because I also need to do some cutting, so it will just be easier to have this out already. So for this, I need to score it at 2 1/8 inch on both sides of the cardstock along that 8 1/2 inch side. So let me just put that through. And this is going to make the really simple fun fold of, it's a gatefold card. So those are the measurements we would always use for a gatefold card. Now for these 2 pieces along this 3 1/2 inch side, we need to score this at 1 1/2 inch. And I need to do that with both of them. And then what I need to do with these 2 pieces, and I need to do this with both of them, I'm just going to grab a pencil here. I need to measure, I need to get to the center of the card, so I need to measure halfway between both ends. So the halfway for this is 1 3/4. So I'm just going to put this in and I'm just going to draw a line. And then the half for this is 2 inches. And again, I'm just going to draw a line. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So 1 3/4, and just draw that line, and then at 2, and draw the line as well. And that gives me the middle of the cardstock. So now what I'm going to do, because I'm creating right now my mechanism for the shutter fold, is I'm just going to line this up diagonally, and I'm going to cut from that center point down to the end. And so I'm going to do that on both sides. And like I said, this is making the mechanism for the shutter. Oops, I just have a tiny piece. And I don't want to put that back in the cutter. Okay, so that piece is all ready. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this. I just want to find the that cut again. Whoops, let's get this lined up right. And again, I'm just going to bring this right up to the center point. And then I'm going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. There we go. Okay, now I could erase these pencil marks, but I am going to just turn it over. So, all right. So I'm going to fold these over. Get a nice crease on them. There we go. And now I'm going to do the folding on this one. And there we have our gatefold card. So, if this is the front as it is, I am going to just start putting, attaching the paper to the front and to, let's see, yes. So they're going to go on both of the front pieces, and I just want them centered on that. There we go. And hi Bonnie, thanks for joining. And I cut these side by side, so I'm just making sure that for the front, those pieces are lined up. But there will still be some places that you'll be able to see the paper. Okay, so there we go. Now, these two pieces are going to go on the inside. And these are okay if, I mean, they do line up, but if they don't line up, it's okay because they're going to be on opposite sides of the cardstock. But I think I have them, yeah, so they would have lined up anyway. Okay, so now let's take a look at this piece, and we are going to add this to it. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, if you remember, when I punched this out at the beginning, I said I had 2 uses for it. Hi, Suzette. Thanks for joining. One is I am going to estimate where the middle of this is. And I'm going to go back to my pencil, and I am just going to trace. I'm not going to trace the whole circle, because I don't need to trace the whole circle. There we go. That's enough. And I'm going to bring this circle punch back, and I am going to line it up with those marks and then punch right through both pieces of paper. All right. Then what I'm going to do is put some dimensionals at the top and the bottom of this. So I'm going to go right across the bottom. All right. And this piece is going to be lining up so it meets the top and the bottom of the card, and we're going to center it. So I'm not going to put the whole thing in yet. I'm just going to take off the tops to the dimensionals at the bottom. And then I'm going to center this as best I can with that right at the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to push that down. Okay, now we're ready to move on. So the next thing I need for this, and I'm going to need this in a few minutes, so I'm going to get it ready. I have here, this is from the Festive Friends stamp set, and it's We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Remember I said we really need a nice small sentiment to go in the middle of the card. So I'm going to grab some Old Olive ink. Hi Elaine, thanks for joining us. Even a little late is okay. And I am going to stamp the center of this. There we go, perfect. Now, while we're at it, I might as well stamp what I'm going to stamp on this back piece. So I'm going to start with that greeting that I've been using quite a bit, the Warmest Winter Wishes, and I'm going to put that towards the top. And then I'm just going to put a piece of paper under, because some of this is going to go off. And I am going to start by stamping in the bunch, but it's still a large snowflake. But you know, what's cool about this set is it's made out of boughs. Now, I could use a different green or a different color or make it lighter if I want, but I'm just going to use the same color. And then this is the center part, and I'm just going to line it up so it fits in the center. There we go. And then I'm going to get some of my early espresso and be stamping that. So I'm going to add a couple pine cones on the side, and then I'm going to put one coming right up from there. So this can actually go right on the back. And then our card is ready for the shutter mechanism. Due to the nature of this card, there's not really a lot of room to write on the inside of it, so you are going to need probably something on the back side. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, we have these two pieces, and as I said, they are your mechanisms. They are going to go in like this. Just to give you an idea. So it's going to go in like that. And so when the card closes, they push in, and when it opens, they come back out. So I'll show you on the inside. You can see how it goes right on to this piece upside down, makes it. So what I'm going to do is actually use tear and tape to, you really want a really strong adhesive on this. So I'm going to put one on each side. There we go. And I like to use my bone folder to just go over it to really adhere it well. And I find if I do that, I never have a problem taking off the cover piece. So I'm going to take both of those off. And actually, look at that. I put them on the wrong side. Darn it all. It should have gone, the tape should have gone on. Oh, no, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Okay, so I am going to be putting this, centering it. So the first one, it's okay because you're going to match up the second one. I want it as close to the fold line as I can get. So let's put this one underneath. Okay, so you can see it's going to move over and it's going to come back like that, and that's what we want. Okay, now the second one, when we go to put it in, here's where we have to be really careful. We want to make sure that these two pieces line up so that there's no overlap. And then I'm going to come back here. So I have to be really, oops, I want to make sure you can still see what I'm doing. I have to be really careful that I'm going to line these up. Okay, that looks good. And then I have to be really careful that I'm not getting too far too close to that edge. Okay, that looks good. And let me just make sure it's going to close. So now I can press it down. Okay, so you can see our shutter is working. All right. Okay, so here, oh, this is good to know, good to show. If you have your pointed ends starting to fold, it's going to make it not close as well. And that, oh, look at that. Now it's closing really well. There's nothing catching at all. So sometimes you have to go in and trim off those points on one of the sets. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put some adhesive on this, and I am going to be sliding this underneath, and I am going to line it up so that my greeting is right where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to press that down. So now I have a working shutter card. Isn't that so cool? And how easy it is. So, yeah, I put it in upside down. You know, I knew that that was going to happen because I put this on too soon. So we're just going to do the easy thing and take this piece off. And then we're going to turn it around so that I don't have to try to redo the inside. I knew when I was putting it down, I thought, boy, you better be checking that as you go along. Okay, so now I can take these pieces off. And bring that down. And now the shutter card is done. And you've got your back. So now it's time to decorate it. So you probably noticed I kept this because we're going to need it. So we're going to take out, so let me show you what I did. I cut out 3 of these large pieces. So let me just keep this ahead. And these are 3 of the ferns. And what I'm going to do is use some glue to put them together. And so we have this beautiful little point that has them together. And it's a great little tool to glue it all together. So I'm just going to make sure I've got this the way I want it to be. There we go. And then what I did, you've seen me do this another Fun Fold Friday where I use the Designer Series paper. So I used the larger piece of the Designer's, the larger Snowflake and the smaller one, and I die cut it out. I'm going to put some glue there. And I am going to line this so I'm still seeing some of that greenery. So that's what it looks like right now. And then we're just going to keep building. So I cut 3 of these out. And what I'm going to do to all 3 of them is I'm going to cut them in half. Because they're not long enough, unless I keep them together. So you can see here, they're not even long enough to go clear across. So I don't want, so I cut 3, and I'm cutting them in half. Because the middle's going to be covered, and, okay, there they are all cut. Now what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue on that back part, and then I am going to place them so they're going to show through what I'm going to do next, but you'll be able to see them. And I'm only putting that little bit of glue on because I don't want, I want there to be some movement, and I don't want everything glued down perfectly. So I'm going to go right along the snowflake and keep adding these smaller pieces just with a little glue. That'll be enough to hold it in place where I want it to be. The glue also allows me to move it a little bit, so that is always great. And hi, Rosalind. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to keep doing that. I really want it, this to have that wow factor. And so I really felt, by really focusing on the front of the card element, that I could really do a wow that way. And the fold is easy to recreate. And the only thing difficult about making this centerpiece, and it's not really difficult, you just need to have the time to cut, just need the time to cut it out. But your dies make that easy enough. Okay, so I need something as a base to hold this all in. So I kept this that I used to cut the circle out in the center. And I am going to put this piece right on that circle. So it's going to give stability to this centerpiece I'm making. Okay, I'm going to put this up with dimensionals. So it's another piece of the another snowflake from the Designer Series paper. Now, again, you don't need to go this elaborate to decorate it, but it really makes a beautiful card for a loved one, someone you love in your family. Okay, so there we go. It's really coming along. So I wanted to add some pine cones. So what I did was I cut the base of the pine cone out in early espresso, and then I cut the top part of the pine cone with the gold foil, and I used adhesive sheets. And what's nice is that these have a whole bunch of little things you have to punch out, but when you use the adhesive sheet, they just kind of come up. They stay. Those little pieces stay on the backing of the adhesive sheet, so it makes it really easy to peel them off. So I cut a total of 5 of these. Because I like going, of course, in an odd number. But you can see how most of them just fall right off. And if there's one left, you can just use your scissors to flip it out. And it's nice with the adhesive sheet. Oops, I got one in there, so let me not push that down yet. It's nice with the adhesive sheet, so you don't have to try to put a little bit of glue on the back of this. That really could seep out on the front, and just kind of make a mess. So the adhesive sheet, if I can speak clearly tonight, I didn't use the adhesive sheet with the other pieces that I was doing tonight because I didn't want them all to stick down. Okay, we've got one more in here, so I'm going to go this way so it falls right out. So we'll just finish putting these together. And this just makes that final piece of this centerpiece, I think, just so pretty and just adds those gold accents. And I'm going to be using the gold ribbon that I've been using this season as well. So Lynn said that she hasn't been successful making a shutter card in the past. I agree. I think you should try it again. And I think if you use the video and kind of, start the video, you have everything cut first because I give you those dimensions, and then, kind of play and pause the video, and it will, that way you can follow each step and just take your time doing it. Okay, there are our pine cones. So what I'm going to do is just turn them all over, and I am going to add a little bit of glue right here at the bottom. I don't know if you noticed when I was putting the glue on this circle, I only put it in the center, so I have room to start tucking some things in. So I'm going to start with, I just don't want to put a pine cone right there. Then I'm going to come over here and put a pear, I think. The only tricky part about this is that you have a lot of layers here, and I don't want to move any of my other layers around. So you've got to be careful on that. So I've got 2 here, 1 here. I guess we'll go right down here and put the other 2. And whoops, and here's what it looks like. We still have a bow to put on it, but I just think it's so pretty and so unique. Okay, so let me get my ribbon going. I have it on a spool over here, but I am going to, I always start my ribbons on the spool so that I don't waste too much of my ribbon. That looks like it's a good size. So let's just take my ribbon shears and I am going to put that right in the middle, and I think that just makes all the difference in the world. Hi Barbara, thanks for joining. I know it's late, but that's okay. You can always watch the replay. Okay, so that's the card. So now if we go back to the card, get some of these pieces out of the way. When I put this on, I want it to be somewhat centered, but I only want to attach it on one side. So I am going to turn this over, and I'm going to use dimensionals to just add to this side. I might have to take some off as well, but I want to have enough that it's going to hold it in place, and then I'm not going to see it on the back side. Okay, so I think that's good. Okay, so I want it centered. Let me just make sure. Oh, perfect. Now, I really went back and forth on whether I should put a greeting on the front, whether I should add some gold bling, but I decided that I liked it just as it is. So, again, it's a gatefold card, but you open it and you find that surprise shutter card inside. And then on the back, you have a place to send your greetings. So again, you've got that beautiful shutter on the inside and a beautiful wreath to put on the front side. So that is it for Funfold Friday. I will be back next Friday. I will start putting the voting. I'm having so much fun with you voting. I just have to, I just, what can I say? I've just had a lot of fun. It's been a challenge to me to take what you give me and then on Wednesday start working on a card design. So you'll have that choice again this week. I'll start on Sunday and putting those things on my Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, you need to come over to Facebook to vote. There'll be something on Facebook Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you have until 8 o'clock Eastern Time to vote. And so thank you. For the last weekend of November for Simply Stamping Sunday. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.